From the beginning of the whole judgment, from Peter be going to petition the proceedings of INEC in court, and from the very body language that we notice from the judges, from the very beginning, Justice Samani and the rest of the judges, Justice Ugo and the rest of them, there is one thing that some of you did not notice that I noticed, and I told you from the beginning, that these people have been paid. Yes, we may not have any evidence to prove that they have been paid. So, but from their body language, it shows that they would definitely compromise. From the look of everything, Nigerians were expecting that the election will be cancelled, and the February 23 election will be cancelled and will be rerun. But of course, these people failed us. They failed us big time. But one important thing that we ought to understand here is that the truth is gradually falling out. Yes, the truth is gradually falling out, and the judges are setting themselves up. It shows that it's not only Tinubu and the INEC chairman that will be going to jail. Peter Obi is not backing down, and that is the kind of stubbornness we need to see when doing the right thing. Now, why the learned judges are being intellectually dishonest by invoking the doctrine of estoppel per INEC versus Labour Party case about requirement for electronic transmission. Estoppel is generally based on the principle that a party should not be allowed to assert something contrary to what they previously stated or implied. Do you hear that? Estoppel is generally based on the principle that a party should not be allowed to assert something contrary to what they previously stated or implied. So, we can vividly see that INEC stated a fact and promised Nigerians, we have the videos, that these elections will be transmitted via the beavers to the IREF, but they failed it. Video evidence are there. I hereby assured Nigerians, this is what INEC Chairman Mahmood said. And the level of injustice. Nigerians are crying for this kind of injustice. This injustice have been happening. For a long time, this injustice have been happening. Yes. It has been happening. Collectively, in different formats, it has been happening. But what happened? This time around, it was because P2B participated in the election that many of us noticed the error. However, if one of the petitioning parties in a case is not a party to a previous decided case, the doctrine of estoppel may not be directly applicable to that party. P2B, APC, and Tinubu here, not parties to the reference case. Electoral Act status is a legal framework for the conduct of election, while INEC regulations provided the legal framework for the specific of voting, collation, declaration, and returns. This is just it. So, from every picture, we have seen the level of injustice, and I'm telling you with every honesty that these guys are setting themselves up. They are setting themselves up. How do you pass a judgment? We saw the way the judgments were being passed. It was more like where they were stealing, where they were doing robbery. It has been happening. I can tell you that from the days of what's it called? From the days of. So that's just it. The injustice that we see today it has been there. It has been there for a very long time, but just that we are not seeing it. it has been there. So, but the previous suit by Labour Party versus INEC as per compelling the later to transmit results electronically should be interpreted based on the Electoral Act because no election had taken place. Accordingly, INEC is at liberty by law to make their own regulation. However, after the election, INEC regulation becomes the main driver of compliance. So, estoppel in this instance cannot hold because cases are contextually different and other laws are applicable. Estoppel typically involve parties who have been involved in previous legal matters or dealings where they made certain representation and then they try to assert something contrary to a later case. So we can see Labour Party is moving to appeal court, to Supreme Court of course, because the new Nigeria is still possible, even though that many people have already given up. So many people have given up. But one thing that these 5 judges should note is that nobody is threatening them, nobody is telling them that this is going to happen to them. It is still the Nigeria they destroyed. Their children, their generation will come back to meet that Nigeria. Because one thing is that if you don't know the level of how far you do things, it's going to come in different dimension and it's going to come in different formats. Yes, but justice will prevail one day, and that's just the good news. Justice will eventually prevail one day. It's just going to take some time, but Nigerians are not giving up, and that's just the sweet part of it. Nigerians can't give up. Nigerians will not give up. And the good news is that people are waking up to understand the very area where they need to place their hand. And that's the joy. So thank God for P2B, because people don't know what P2B is standing up against. A man who has been put through so much. He's not even looking at the hate speech. He's actually looking at those Nigerians that still believe that he's fighting for their cause. That's what you look at, so that you don't get discouraged. Yes. The moment you look at it, you won't be discouraged, and that's what P2B is looking at, and he should be applauded for it. But in no time, everything will fall into place. Thanks for supporting the Future News. Peace.